I'm a little torn about what I wanted to talk about. I did write a list of things, but the thing is, it's a level of elevation, ascension, evolution, growth. Pick a synonym, you know, of leveling up. That one just can't just talk about anything anymore without the backings, factual backing of why you're saying what you're saying, right? I can theorize about relationships based on my experiences, what I've seen on social media, examples that provide proof that the things on social media are real. But sometimes on these walking chronicle situations, you can't do it because I'm holding the camera, I'm holding my dog, I'm holding your attention. um, I don't have, you know, uh, a thing to quote, right? While I'm doing everything. So the crazy part is that I had written down, I guess not a sermon, but interesting. Starts banners playing. I guess there's a game. But anyway, I have written down um I don't want to say sermon, but a meditation. There you go. Something that I can say to you and you could be like, "Oh," and you can marinate with the thought process. But guess what? It's about something hard, right? It's Bible based. Right? And and that's the crazy thing because a lot of people are doing this journey of Bible studying. Just like there's a bunch of people doing a weight loss journey, like there's a bunch of people who are doing hiking expeditions, you know, yeah, because I'm in all three, right? There's people that are, dog bound, with their doggy adventures, different niches. And I've come with this big desire that I have to allocate more time to God, right? And it's not because I want to be like better than anybody else in the idea of Bibling, right? But there's a desire to be consumed by it, and that book has so many directions you can take in explaining different ideas and different concepts, ideas, same thing, right? Pick another synonym for idea, right? And it just also gives you examples, you know. So, how would you describe the Bible? Is it a book of directions, instruction manual? Is it a map? Is it a guide? And you can consider saying, like, damn, Debbie, you're just talking in synonyms today. But in a way, each of those synonyms have a quirk, a different thing to them. In terms of characteristics, um, in terms of end result. You know, it's how you want to perceive the Bible. Because it's understood, you know, depending on who you talk to, and people who are real hardcore Bible studying people, they could divide the book up in terms of, you know, the first 5 books of Moses are basically the laws, right? And then there's the first 5 books of the New Testament, that's the gospel of Jesus. Then, you know, you could break that down into more subsections. And obviously, I haven't gotten there yet, so that's why I'm pretty vague. But I hope you get my gist. Or you can use the whole Bible as a description of a journey. You know, here's the beginning, and in Genesis, and Revelations is the end. And you have the book of Daniel as the roadmap. And then you have the side quests of the other books, right? Or you could look at the Bible and you could say, I'll take that back. You could look at the Bible and you could look at the reoccurring themes. You know? That from the very beginning, that our salvation is based on the sacrifice of Jesus. Right? And it is a repeated theme. Right? All over the place. Today I watched a series. I binge watched a Christian series about the prophecies and the chain of it's called the chain of the prophecy because it just depicts on the history of the prophecies and how it relates to the reality of and all that stuff. So with that said, one reoccurring theme that the pastor said, that he said, when it's time, Christ, the people of Jehovah, you know, Jesus Christ people, the believers and all that stuff, they're not just going to get raptured and that's it and everything, you know. It's going to be more difficult because it's going to actually create anguish, pain. There's going to be suffering before you actually see the bliss. And if you go ahead and look within the stories of the Bible, it's a reoccurring theme of the journey of pain and anguish. You know? Let's talk about, you know, Moses' time. There's lots of references how the people of Israel was roaming for 40 days, 40 years, 40 weeks, 40 months, 40 everything, right? And I can only imagine that the people actually suffered. There's probably deaths, you know, incurable diseases, grief, torment. I have not heard an argument showing that this is part of God's plan. Because before, you know, the people of Israel made it to their land, they suffered, right? And the pastor kept saying, you know, it's also written in the Bible. There's a time where the people of Jehovah is gonna feel the anguish, the pain, you know. And there's Job, Job, depending on the pronunciation, what language you speak. Job in Spanish, Job in English. He suffered before he received all his blessings, right? Noah, he suffered before he got all his blessings. Jeremiah suffered before he got all his blessings. Daniel suffered before he got his blessings. Esther, she suffered, and even though it's called more preparation, before she got her blessings. David suffered before he got his blessings. Who else? I just forgot the guy's name with the hair. Delilah. Samson, there you go. Before he was able to finally have his blessings, he suffered. Jesus suffered before he gave his blessings, got his blessings. He was giving out blessings. So, with that said, I made mention of Esther. No offense, some call it preparation for her, because before she became queen, she was being prepared, right? Coached and stuff like that. But do you think it came naturally? She was separated from her people, her family, her livelihood, her customs. She suffered. But people say preparation for her to be queen. The suffering leads to the preparation of, or it is the preparation of, to the blessings, to the success, to whatever God has in store for us. Which I reflect. I have a friend, my virtual friends, my spiritual brother, another one that knows my saga, my romanticized saga. And I want to believe him, and I believe it when everybody says it's a season, it's a season, a lesson, whatever. And I gotta say, it hurt. We're still hurting. But this pain is for preparation. He says, Deb, and he always says it, you've changed so much in so many years. And you're glowing in a different set of ways that you never glowed before. You've always been beautiful, but you're different now. And God will have his blessings for you, because God is not done with you, and he has in store for you beautiful things. That is true. I'm starting to believe it. Well, I mean, I believed it before, but in hindsight, I couldn't see it because my eyes were watering from all the crying, right? But with a, I guess, clearer mind, with some sense, I know it's true. That I will be blessed with greater things, and I shall receive it. I'm open to it. whether it be someone who will love me and appreciate me, job that will promote me, upgrade me, make me even a bigger success than I already am. You know, personality building, so I could be more outrageous than I already am. Fearless, resilient, and charismatic as ever. And awesomely gorgeous. With time. Right? So I believe that. I believe that the Bible is a beautiful symphony within itself. And it's a lesson of the suffering, that time of turmoil is the preparation. And one of the craziest things is that he connected it to the story of Jacob. And at one point, his own mind had made him suffer because he thought of the anger, the disappointment of his brother because of the betrayal he's committed, not once but twice, And then he wrestled with the angel, and he made a beautiful point that I've never noticed. It was never brought up to me that way. Yes, he was wrestling with God, technically. That angel was not just a mere angel, it was God. And then he wouldn't give up. And they changed his name from Jacob to Israel because he was so enamored with the idea of holding on with all his might, fearlessly not giving up, relentlessly, passionate about getting his blessings and winning. Not just winning, but being exonerated from his wrongdoings. Like, he had utmost faith that he was going to be blessed after all was said and done. And the way that was broken down, as in his relationship with God, and that's why his name was changed, was like striking to me. I was like, wow. Because I see the first part, right? First two parts. And it actually is part of the prophecy as well. I see the first part where a lot of people are believers. Okay? You believe, you get baptized, you start walking the walk, right? It comes with the suffering. A lot of people are suffering. A lot of people are suffering. What they're missing is Jacob's relentless attitude to hold on with blind faith, with every ounce of his heart, his being, his soul. That's the part that's missing. And maybe I solved that whole, the mystery of when will the end of days happen, right? We are in the midst of the turmoil, the suffering, but not enough suffering has happened to the point where we all have blind faith in God. And when that we clamor with him with that blind faith, that we've request forgiveness for all the bad things we've done, you know, that we start living the Bible, not just talking about it, that we behave with a good intentions, with a good heart, you know, accepting losses, but not having grudges. Because one thing is you can, let go of bad things, but if you don't have forgiveness, you're still in the thick of it, right? So I think that's where we're all stuck at. Now, a lot of us, I don't want to say a lot of us, that's very general. Many people have had their close encounters with God. They've been pulled out of cesspool moments, could have been life and death. And yes, they've turned over a new leaf. And yes, having a second chance is a blessing. But sometimes, have we reached that purpose of the full potential of the blessing that God wants us to have? Because that's the blessing. Go through the crap storm so we could get the blessing. But what is the blessing? It is to fulfill, I think the purpose that God has made us. Which is hard. Because no one knows that definition. How do we define what's my purpose? Like, God, you don't give me a sign. No, God paves the way. But that's the thing. If you have the blind faith like you did when you were in the crap storm, you need to have the blind faith when things are good. And he will lead you to your purpose. And it's not about money. We all need money. It's what you touch in people's soul. Crazy, right? So, I saw this TikTok of a lady who was struggling, right? And she posted that she sold food, right? Supposedly the story is she sold food on Facebook Marketplace, and then a TikToker made a video of the food, and it blew her up. But she was in the middle of losing her home, hating her job, going through mental breakdowns. And the thing is, the TikToker probably didn't realize that he used his purpose of being that, light to expose her. But also the love that she put into the food created this symbiotic relationship between her and the world, that got her out of the wicked ways probably of the world that she was living in, to save probably the good parts of her heart, her soul. Because no offense, mental illness is a spiritual attack. You think it's your mind, but it's a spiritual thing too. It's in your heart. It's a soul thing. People gonna come at me, whatever. I don't care. Because God makes no mistake with anybody. We are not worms. But we get too caught up with our emotions. To have the blind faith in the good and in the bad. No, I haven't kept up with the lady. The lady seemed like she's doing good. She making money. Either she making money from the Facebook marketplace, the customers, the reactions, her time on social media. But hopefully the money doesn't get to her head and she gives forth, more of the riches of her soul. Hopefully we won't hear just her story on a one meal wonder, kind of a thing. So, as I do my walking life, walking this dog, right now I look like a hot mess. I'm still wearing my pajamas. And I never come out like that. I dress up, at least with some leggings and whatnot. But I don't dress up where I wear my house pajama clothes to walk my dog. That's a big no-no. But at this point, I don't care. I think I don't know why he's saying hi to me as if, we cool deep. Oh, I shouldn't say that. Shows how I'm not Christian like I am. But, okay, so someone said hi and I waved back. Then I realized who it was. And, I guess he's a human being. We all make mistakes. We all have flaws, right? But anyways. But I think that's also part of the journey that I'm going through. Like I said, I lost, I think, a lot of my F's in the beginning of the year. I'm not as hung up on whether people like me or not, whether they talk to me, whether they want to hang out with me, whether I'm invited or not. It's okay. Because I'm the one signing the checks, right? And it's an experience, I don't know. I recently had an experience with somebody considered a coworker, and I was getting, I really care. I still care for her. If she needed help, I'd show up, no matter what. But she's kind of changed with me. But it's okay. It is what it is. I'll chop it up and be Debbie turned up when it's necessary, and if not, then I'm on mute. Because right now, I got a lot of work to do. And I'm just not at work in terms of my personal space, but in terms of my work life, assignments. It's a lot of work going on. You gotta move quickly and swiftly with quality and with care. But I know that I'm being steered in the right direction. I'm still questioning a lot of things. I feel like certain prayers are not being heard. And my heart naturally falls into empathy. I have to remind myself what happened in January. The snowstorms were brutal. and they hurt. It was very cold. With that said, I'm gonna cut this off so that, it doesn't become too long and boring. But it's about the pain equaling the preparation. Good insight for today. Talk to you later. God bless you all. Bye bye.